At long last, I've finished reviewing all of the Donkey Kong NES games. Wait, what's that? There's another one? Are you sure? Well, that's great news, because I loved the first three. What's the next one? Oh no. Out of the 30 Black Box NES games, there's one that stands out for particularly bad reasons. What if I told you they made a Donkey Kong game about math? Yeah, this is a game about Donkey Kong homeschooling his son. I'm not joking. Donkey Kong Jr. Math might just be the biggest joke of a game Nintendo has ever released. Like, ever. This game was on actual store shelves next to real video games. On top of that, it was inexplicably one of the ones that Nintendo kept re-releasing for all their new consoles. It was one of the NES games on Animal Crossing, it got re-released for the Wii U Virtual Console, alongside, actual NES games. It even got re-released for the Switch. We live in a timeline where this game was on the last 5 Nintendo consoles, but Mother 3 has still never been localized. The vice president of sales of Nintendo America literally called it the worst game we ever sold. This is real. But is it the worst NES game they ever sold? I don't know, but it's the worst one I've played so far. So what is this game? Well, it's Donkey Kong Jr. That's not a joke, by the way. It literally uses exactly the same engine, the same character models, the same background, same design. In fact, if you go on the Cutting Room Floor, which is a website that's dedicated to cut content in games, you'll find that literally everything from Donkey Kong Jr. is still in the files. That's pretty much the only thing in the article. Probably because the rest of the game is so boring. I have a genuine question for anyone watching this who played NES games as a kid. Did you own this? This is another situation like Clu Clu Land where I'm wondering who on earth bought this. There are 3 game modes, and all of them are insanely boring. The first one is Calculate A. Donkey Kong holds up a sign with a number, and you have to use multiplication, addition, subtraction, and division to make it. If you've been looking at the footage and wondering who on earth the pink guy is, that's the second character. They were so lazy that they just decided to leave him in the single-player mode. I would assume that the 2-player mode is mildly less boring than the 1-player mode, but this is my cross to bear. I couldn't think of torturing anyone else with this game. Going back to the gameplay, it's just not fun. Donkey Kong Jr. is already a pretty slow game, so adding math to that is just a recipe for a disaster. Every time that you want to do an operation, you have to slowly climb up, then slowly climb back down to get the sign. As far as I can tell, you can't choose a new number once you've already touched one. You have to use the one you just picked. And it's really easy to pick one by accident. In my experience, the best way to make a number is to multiply 2 big ones to get close and then add or subtract a little. Also, you're restricted to only using single-digit numbers, meaning that I can't show off my sick math skills. I can't believe I just wrote that down and said it. It can be really annoying sometimes because let's say that the target number is 40 and you have 60. Well, you can't just subtract 20, you have to subtract 5 and then 6 and then 9 or something like that. It takes forever and it's really boring. This isn't a bad idea for an education game in concept, but in practice it's just so boring and slow. Overall, this game is about as fun as punching numbers into a calculator for a few hours. The next game is called Plus Minus Times Divided by Exercise. How creative. Hey, why is there only one division option, and why is it so easy? Isn't long division one of the most important things you should teach kids in math? Well, whatever. I just chose double-digit addition. What you have to do to put the answer in is climb on the poles as high as the number on the left side of the screen. If you're stuck, you can push the question mark thing up to the keyhole, which skips the question. I actually did that a bunch at first because I didn't know what I was doing. Have you ever wanted to pay money to do basic math that a 3rd grader could do? Well then Donkey Kong Jr. Math has got you covered. This is actually way more fun than the other modes. Let me just put that into perspective. Children's math homework is more fun than the first mode in this game. Yeah, this mode is basically just Abacus, the game. One thing I really hated about it was I don't know how to put zeros in. As far as I can tell, if the answer to the question ends with a 0, then you're just doomed to get it wrong. Going as high as you can only goes up to 9, and going as low as you can only goes down to 1. So that was Donkey Kong Jr. Math, and overall, I hated it. It genuinely kind of feels like an April Fool's prank. Like, imagine being a kid in the 80s and your parents got you this instead of Donkey Kong Jr. Apparently they were going to make more games like it because it's part of the Education series, which it's the only game that got released for it, but still. Wasn't the entire point of the NES's marketing that it was supposed to be a toy for kids? And on top of that, it isn't even a good education game. All you do is just do math. That's it. It doesn't help you with anything, it doesn't give you tips, it's just like a math homework assignment. I emulated this game for free and I still feel like I deserve money back. And thanks to Animal Crossing, this game is on every Nintendo console except the Super Nintendo. Granted, Animal Crossing isn't on the 64 in America, but still. The fact that this game has been available on the newest console for 25 years when a ton of other games that are way better are completely unavailable is just so disappointing. But it's still better than Pac-Man for the 2600. 2 out of 10, have a great day, like and subscribe, bye.